Hey guys, earlier someone asked the question of what are the best ways to spend money in SFL if you want to spend money in SFL? And I thought I would make a video about it discussing my thoughts about what are some of the best boosts you can buy in SFL when you're starting out. This is kind of be a rambly video because I'm not going to have that much structure to it. I'm going to go through the 10 to 20 best NFTs I think you could buy, maybe 30, and they're going to have different price ranges, and I'll explain why I think they are the best or why I think someone should buy them. And there are many different reasons for that, and I'll try and explain it as I go. So I jotted down a list I have on my side monitor here about a list of some of the best SFTs that I think you could buy, and a lot of it's going to come down to their supply and their effect on the game. So some of the best NFTs you could buy are honestly some of the cheaper ones, just because just because they're cheap doesn't mean they're bad. A lot of the reasons why some of them are cheap are just because of their supply. For example, fat chicken and rich chicken are both great SFTs to buy, and they're only they're less than $2 each. The reason why they're so cheap is because they have super high supplies. They're at 17,000, and for fat chicken, 16,000 for rich chicken. In contrast, if you scroll down and find something like Sunflower Shield, this is $128. It gives you free sunflower seeds, but it doesn't give you unlimited sunflower seeds. It just makes it so the sunflower seeds in your shop are free. And that's going to save you a handful of coins every time you refresh. It's not worth it at all. The reason why it's so expensive is because it only has a supply of 68. So just because something's expensive or cheap doesn't mean it's either good or bad. So I've jotted down some of the things, some of the SFTs that I think are super good value. Fat chicken is very good. 10% of feed to your chickens forever for less than $2 is great. Rich chicken, an extra zero point 0.1 eggs every chicken. You can have up to 35 chickens if you buy the chicken coop SFT, which is more expensive, but it'll give you a lot more eggs for, once again, super cheap. Um, Chicory and Desert Rose, both of these are once again super cheap because they have a pretty high supply, 6,000, and yeah, they're both about 6,000. And they give you 10% chance for +1 flower, and they work together. They don't stack in that it won't give you a 20% chance for one flower, but each one will have its own proc rate. So in theory, you can get 3 flowers from one flower bed. Both very good for their price. Another one is Flower Fox. It's a bit more expensive. It's around the $15 range, minus 10% flower growth. Early on, this won't be amazing, but if you're ever going to compete in the auction races with tickets, having any type of flower growth reduction is going to be super valuable. Another one is Lunar Calendar. It's 10% reduction in crop growth time. This applies to all crops. It applies to greenhouse crops. It applies to regular crops. It's just a great NFT, and once again, it's one of those things that has a super high supply, 6,000. If it had a lower supply, it would be way more expensive. Another great one is Nancy, and Nancy is also amazing. Once again, minus 50% crop growth time. It's actually better than the lunar calendar. The reason why it's cheaper is that it has a higher supply, and you should either get Nancy if you're going to not spend too much, $20, or Scarecrow, which is a bit further down. It's $100, and they don't stack. You don't have one or the other, but this one also gives you 20% more crops. So having one of these is super important. Scarecrow is amazing, but if you can't afford it, then just go with Nancy. Tiki Totem's also good. It's not going to provide the best buff. It's only 0.1 wood. It's only $15, but once again, it's 6,000 supply, which is why it's so cheap. There's a Woody the Nymph that's zero point 0.2 wood, so it's twice as good, but it's $200 versus $15 for 0.1. Mannequin Echo is another good one. It gives you free food per day. It's not any food. There's a list of food. If you go to SFL World and you go to the chest page and scroll down, here's a list of the food you can get. It's not amazing. Sunflower cake's the best thing. There's a few good things here, but just having a bit of food every day is super helpful. Another one is Grain Grinder, which is 20% increased cake value, wherever that is. It's somewhere around here. Here it is, Grain Grinder. 20% increased cake XP. And currently, the best thing you can make in game food food wise and XP wise is lemon cheesecake. It gives you a ton of experience. Increasing this by 20% is huge. Another good one is the observatory. It's just a flat 5% XP boost to everything. 15 bucks here. So those are the ones that I would say are like super important and like really good that like basically everyone should have. Um, some other good ones are you could like focus on one crop. It's better to like focus on one crop and just plant a bunch of that than like having a boost here for this one, a boost here for that one, and like not getting as much value. And there's some super good boosts for carrots and eggplants that like aren't expensive. So like you get purple trail here for zero point 0.2 eggplant. You get eggplant onesie for 0.1 eggplant. And then you could also get Obi, which reduces eggplant growth time by 25%. So you get Obi plus these two boosts, plus like Scarecrow or Nancy, and plus Lunar Calendar, your eggplant growth time is going to be like half of what it was originally. Or you could do the same thing with carrots. You get Easter Bunny, which is plus 20% carrots, which multiplies with Scarecrow. So if you have both, it's actually the multiply values are multiplied together, not just additive. Sorry. Yeah. So you get Easter Bunny. You can get Pablo, wherever Pablo is, Pablo plus one carrot, and then you can get the carrot amulet, which is over here minus 20% carrot growth time. So once again, focusing on like one crop is pretty valuable. You could also get Victoria Sisters, which it's just a pumpkin boost, but it's pretty cheap and pretty good. Once again, the reason why some of these are so cheap is because they're high supply, 8,000 here. And then some fruit boosts are good. Fruit aren't in the best spot right now, but lemons and tomatoes are super useful in a lot of recipes. The lemon cheesecake, for example. So you get like a bunch of relatively cheap lemon boosts. You get the lemon frog, which is minus 25% lemon growth time. You can get reveling lemon, which is plus 0.25 lemon, and then you could also get the lemon shark, which is another plus 0.2 lemon. So like if you want to focus on like one fruit, which is lemon, you can only plant it half of the seasons, which is kind of a downside, but in those seasons you'll be getting a ton of lemons. There's other more expensive lemon boosts. I don't know if they're worth it exactly, depending on how much you want to spend. It's lemon bath and lemon shield. Here's lemon shield plus one lemon, but it's like almost $300. And then lemon, where's the other lemon? Lemon tea bath, $350 for like 50% reduced time on lemons. So you could go that way, or you could just get the cheaper boost, and you could also get Camo onesie, which is just plus 0.1 fruit for all fruit. So that's a pretty useful one just to have all the time. And then if you want to get into more expensive stuff, once again, this is going to come down to a lot of this is going to come down to supply. Like Infernal Drills is very good, obviously, but there's only 55 supply. It gets free oil. Same thing with some of these other ones, like Devil Wings are great. Devil and Angel Wings are great. They 30% chance of instant crop, but there's only 30 of each or whatever, 25 of each. If you want to spend a lot of money and get like a really good boost, there's a few that I would recommend. Golden Spatula, it's not super expensive. It's $140, but plus 10% experience multiplies with all your other experience buffs. Super useful. Another super useful one is Green Amulet, wherever that is. Green Amulet should be down here somewhere. I could probably just search for it if I don't see it. Oh, here it is. Okay, chance for 10x crops. It's a 10% chance for 10x crops, so it's on average doubling your crops. And if you have other multiplicative bonuses like Easter Bunny, they'll multiply each other. So like Easter Bunny would make your default have 1.2 carrots per, and if you have a 10x multiplier on that, you would get 12 instead of getting 10. So Green Amulet's super good. It's a pretty high supply, 800 here. That's why it's if it was the same supply as Infernal Drill, like 55, it would be who knows how much. It'd be way more expensive. And another super good one is Foreman Beaver. If you want to spend a ton of money, I think Foreman Beaver has been going up in price recently. It's 300 supply, but it makes you be able to chop trees for free. I think this is one of the more expensive SFTs, but I think it's also one of the better ones. Like for example, like ancient shovel is only a bit more expensive, but there's only supply 30. If this had 300 supply, this price would be like a third of what it is or something, if not cheaper. Forming Believer has a super high supply and it's very good. So like the main takeaway from this is that like just because something is cheap or something is expensive doesn't mean it's good or bad. Supply plays a large role in the the price and cost of some of these SFTs. Um, Another thing is I'll link this in the video, but the SFL World is just the best site we have. I don't know what we would do without it. And Andre keeps a list of all the SFTs here, and they're sorted by category, animal category, crop category, and they're sorted by price. And it's a super useful resource to see a list of all the SFTs we have in game. You could obviously use the marketplace in game too, but it's not sorted by any category, so it's kind of hard to find stuff unless you know exactly what you're looking for. But yeah, if you have any questions about this, let me know in the comments below. Tag me in Discord, find me on Twitch whenever I'm streaming, and I'll be glad to answer some of your questions. Okay, have a good day, guys.